Good morning. What time is it? Really early in the morning. 6:57. Been up for a while, and everybody's in an RV or van. I like my tent. I have space. I know a lot of people that know me are probably wondering, like, how does a student trustee or somebody that had all their ish together end up homeless? I wonder that sometimes. But in reality, it was like Murphy's Law. And I don't mean Dr. Murphy at Santa Ana College. But timing. Isn't that what life is? Timing. Went from being student trustee to being accepted to Cal State Long Beach, go Beach, to social work. I went from being a part-time student to being a full-time student and going all the way to Long Beach. My daughter had just started kindergarten, so it went from her going to the Child Development Center on my campus to scoring a scholarship for her to go to the private school that she was actually baptized at. So that was for me a big win. So a lot of the money that I had went to car payment and school for her, private school. For me, that was the best choice that I could make for her. At that point in time in her life, her dad wasn't a stable fixture. And so there was something that my oldest sister, or my sister, said once, that, it didn't matter whether her earthly father had been there for her or not, because her heavenly father had never failed her. So that was something that was really important for me to be able to provide for Ariel. It was that level of a stability for her. And I was able to, and I'm very grateful that she's still there. It didn't look like it was feasible this summer. I had lost my job. The contract, 6-month contract that I had with the Veterans Resource Center at Santa Ana College had ended in June, and unfortunately there was a hiring freeze in the district. And nobody was getting back to me about tuition or being able to help, and as it was, supposedly I had spoken to the priest, and I wasn't even supposed to have paid the second half of the previous year. So, I was doing what I could, and I was prepared to put her in private school. And at that time, nobody knew what the heck was going on, so I was just verbalizing very like, and people took that a little too seriously. I was not going to not enroll my daughter in classes. I'm not dumb. I understand the importance of an education. But, people got their panties in a bunch. Total side note. But it does amaze me that 2 mothers in particular, the ones that are so concerned about my parenting, one of them gave my daughter, a kindergartner, a sports bra. Like, a sports bra. And took my daughter and gave her coffee at McDonald's. When my daughter asked me for a Frappuccino, I had an issue with that. And the other mom, the one that works for social services, those cute little baby blue collar thingies, literally drove my daughter without a car seat. And then gets mad at me and pops attitude at me when I tell her, why didn't you communicate that with me? I would have stopped by and picked it up. And this is also the person, I have a lot of issues with this individual who I'm now being told, oh, you should go talk to her. Why? She doesn't even do her job. I know that for a fact. And she's the one that's literally going to different homeboys from different, gangs to try to protect herself from her baby daddy. Just because she's butthurt that he knocked somebody else up. And she is bitter. So supposedly he was a good guy who just happened to get caught up in a RICO case. But then when she meets my brother and his homeboys, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do when he gets out, and blah 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 blah. And all of a sudden, all kinds of stuff starts popping off in my personal life, coinciding with the fact that I'm calling out the Santa Ana Police Officers Association. I've been active in regards to homelessness in our city for, I don't know, way too long. Like going to city council meetings, I go to my neighborhood meetings, I go to board of supervisor meetings. I mean, I was stupid OC Register caught me going off on everybody that got bussed out from Irvine who was handed signs at the board of supervisors meeting saying no tent city. I'm that girl in the green little turtleneck, short hair. Yeah, me. Anyways, I've been on Spitzer's shit list for God knows how long, and now he's our DA. I had to go through 2 appeals for my housing voucher for the transfer, and I used the Violence Against Women's Act, so everything was legit. I went within 3 days of having won the case, or whatever happened in December 2018. So since then, I was trying to get that housing. And then during the time that I was homeless, supposedly, I'm over here walking my happy butt to Santa Ana housing just to be told that Orange County decided to put a lock on it and was holding the voucher. Like, none of this was making sense. But yet people in power, who I was verbally most likely upsetting, I mean, do the math, people. I mean, I had to sit down and do the math. It ain't that hard. I was literally this last summer going with a mayoral candidate and going to meetings, to sit downs, talking to people about issues that are directly affecting our city, were affecting our city. I was advocating, I was educating our residents, and all of a sudden it went from being that to I'm being painted as bipolar and schizophrenic, and my daughter's being taken away. And to Santa Ana PD, when a domestic violence situation happens in a home, the priority shouldn't be to keep the child in the only home that they pretty much know. It should be to keep the child with their parent, especially when that's the only parent that person has. You should have made every effort possible to take me and my daughter. You should have had a social worker present. So many things should have been done right, and they weren't. And here I am. From that moment, and no, I wasn't homeless right away. A really great mentor, administrator, and family took me in because I wasn't gonna be homeless with my daughter on the streets. And I was able to secure a very happy living place for my daughter to be for a while. But that wasn't okay with my family, who thought they knew better. I've done the best I can. But when I was constantly having wellness checks sent my way, any sane person would get upset. It didn't matter where I was. People were helping me out, putting me up in hotels. More than once a day, I'd get a wellness check, and they'd check me out and it'd be fine. One day, my family decides, or my brother decides, hey, come over, we want to hang out. Me, pendeja, there I go. And apparently, come to find out, their whole thing was so I could be checked in for a drug rehab place. I had called, it was like right after I'd had a court hearing, the first one online or whatever, or over Zoom meetings, and I was assigned my caseworkers and told names and everything, and my brother was really insistent on, you have to check in. Like, I got over to his house after a bike ride, and he was on the phone writing something down, hangs up, and he's like, oh, I need to take you here, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. This is not what they said in court. No, well, this is what she told me, So I forgot what happened, but that night I ended up pretty much homeless. And then when I did get a hold of the social worker or case manager the next day, literally she's telling me that that was her first day back. She had been on a 2-week vacation and that she hadn't even made any phone call the day before. So again, like, this is after somebody did a wellness check while I was staying at my brother's house. And they had to escort, like, allow me to leave. You know what I mean? Like, if professionals are almost on a daily basis talking to me, checking on me, questioning me, verifying that I'm okay, how come this small group of people are getting to make all the decisions in my life and paint me in a certain light? I've been very stressed. I've come across information that I'm not very happy about. It's very personal. There was stuff that I had to process and stuff that I do want to talk to people about, but not everybody deserves to know my business, even though I've kind of put it out there. One of the things I confronted her about, or my mom about, was about not being my mom. And her reply to me was just simply like upset. And it was just, well, did your dad tell you the whole agreement? Those of you that know me know my dad's been dead since 2011. So no, I don't know what agreement she's talking about. So that's a lot that I had to process this summer. The fact that my dad, the whole time I've grown up, has said, Mija, you didn't have brothers, you had sisters. Mija, believe half of what they tell you. And then I find my sister. I find out I have a sister when I'm 18. So again, there's a lot to process, to know. And then I have to get to the point where, like, does it even matter? Because everybody that knows this woman knows her as like a saint outside of this home. I didn't know that saint growing up. So, when my father died, or the man that raised me died, God could have taken anybody in my life, and it wouldn't have mattered. So, now, they took, in physical form, the one person that mattered since him. And so now I just have to figure out, like, this isn't like one of those things where it's like, you're never going to get your parent back from heaven. Like, I just need to make sure, like, whatever I do going forward, this will never happen again. And she'll never be away from my side without it being willingly, you know? So, yeah. I just need some alone time. I've always been locked up or attached to something or someone. And we were growing up, you know, it was always good times and parties, and everybody pretty much gravitated toward our home and my family, and that was great. So now I just have to kind of find new family or a new norm, a new tribe, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, how does a student trustee end up homeless? She ends up homeless during COVID. She ends up without technology in a world where you need technology. And this, no Wi-Fi. I might have to upload this. Might not upload it. But right now I'm venting. I don't know. Does it get lonely? Yes. But I don't like getting blasted with questions because I don't know all the answers, and then I get emotional. So I just like to just be in my little bubble. No harm, no foul. So sorry for being a weirdo. But yeah. Yeah. Like the whole Vanessa Guillen thing last year really fucked with me. Because if you know my kid, like, she's gonna want to go to the military, especially knowing that grandpa and dad were in the military. So to think that could be my kid that just disappears one day. And my daughter that gets, you know. The world's gotta change. These kids deserve better than what we've been allowing to happen around us. And we do need less government. This experience has definitely changed my mind about wanting to have any part in social work or CPS. No family is cookie cutter, and you can't apply a one-size-fits-all to anything or anyone. And I'm seeing too many people, even out here in homelessness, that are good, willing parents. And even though some people aren't perfect, these kids still deserve to have their parents in their life. And not just when they're adults and they're able to get to that point of compassion and forgiveness. It's important for kids to have their parents in their lives, if their parents want to be in their lives. So many opinions of mine have changed since being out here. We had one class over at Cal State Long Beach where we talked about like the sterilization of women during the 50s and 60s and stuff like that. And I remember how like we were all just like, how dare they? And now I gotta say, like, I'm sorry, but I've met somebody that made me change my mind. So people need to be sterilized. And I hate saying that. I'm sorry. As much as I don't like government, I think we do need to step in sometimes. Because I am la madre. I don't know. It's complicated. Too complicated. The whole jail system is a joke. Institutionalizing people, punishing them not getting a trial, them having a half-ass fucking person representing them, somebody being able to get a pro bono attorney and then re-traumatize somebody that was just traumatized. That's bullshit. Like, how are you guys gonna be ticketing homeless people left and right? Like, are you serious, dude? Like, and for some of the stuff that you guys do, and then you take their stuff. And then, like, I've met a dude that was, like, taking care of his dog. You take his dog stuff. Like, y'all are fucked up. Like, seriously. Do you know what it takes for a homeless person to try to get somewhere on time? Ooh, en la madre. By the time they get a bus, by the time they get this, by the time the bike that they're sharing with their best friend, as well-intentioned as they are, it just doesn't work out. And it, like, people living in their cars, same situation. You still need gas. You still have the anxiety of driving around because you probably don't have tags. You don't have a valid ID. But then, you know, MASTA still expects you to get to point A, point B on time. Like, come on. And then everybody down here is stealing from everybody. So the moment you get an Obama phone, bye. And then you can't even apply for a new one, and you're broke, so you can't even afford to replace the one that you've been doing. It's a fucking horrible cycle. So to everybody that makes it seem like, oh, well, blame me, and no, it's complicated. So, anyways, totally talking to myself, totally pretending I'm talking to like my ASG fam who are in positions to be able to do something about this, because you guys sit at tables and at nonprofits and you guys help this population. So, help. No, I'm just kidding. But, like, y'all need to give these people some lockers, some electricity, allow them to take showers places, and not just on your terms. Not everybody should have to go to a shelter. Like, shit, sometimes they just want to wash some clothes and just be clean. They're not trying to be stinky. They like showers. But, when all you're doing is throwing a gift card of fast food their way, and the fast food place don't even let them use the restroom, just saying. Could you be spending your funds a little better? Like what Santa Ana was doing. Buy a broke down motel, turn it into an apartment thing, give it to some people, buy some property, go talk to Habitat for Humanity, go get some of these. You guys got so many military people here, and people on leave, and people on this and stuff like that, and ROCT. You could build a little tiny village. Shit, other countries have done it. I mean, shit, Irvine's got all kinds of property. You guys got so much open space over here, it's ridiculous. Just stick them behind a hill. Stick a little village, like all the people that do one type of drug over here, the people that do another type of drug over there, let them receive all the services they need directly there. Why scatter them around the city? That's coconuts. Just because they're not, oh, we don't see them at the park anymore. Yay, problem solved. They don't exist anymore. Yeah, that didn't happen. They literally just went to like other places. Yeah, problem not solved. So instead of, everybody shying away and pretending that, there isn't other issues like wealthy countries sending people out here to have, their children, and they hide them out in motels. Oh, we'll allow that. That's okay. But let's not allow housing our homeless in these same situations. Nah. We got our priorities wrong. Time to reprioritize. Enough with spending money on creating a little the bench with the handles here to deter homeless. Stop spending money on blasting classical music to annoy the homeless. You guys do that a lot in Santa Ana and in Anaheim. It ain't cool. Like, all the money that you guys have spent to annoy the homeless and push them away, y'all could have done a lot more to solve the problem. Dun dun dun. But what do I know? I'm just a homeless girl. Dun dun. Anyways, I'm gonna move on with my life. Probably eat some chips or drink some juice. Bye. Oh, I like it. Anyways, read. It's good for you.